I was thinking about you today.
Oh yeah, what you got? Oh, Dayton. Okay, how's that going?
Not well.
Not well.
Not
Hmm.
well.
The numbers don't add up,
Huh. Well, they do add up.
but
I can say that they definitely add up.
they
Um,
add up the right way or the wrong way.
oh, they add up to the wrong way.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. You don't want to hear that.
Well, first of all, the listing says that it's a 10% vacancy.
Mm-hmm. It's
I
more
have
than that.
I have the rent roll from last month.
Mm-hmm.
There are 8 vacancies last month.
Okay. That make how many percent?
What's well, you take 42 and divide it into 8 and you get 19.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's not bad because that lets us know it's being poorly managed.
That's true.
But I was looking at the income statement from January of 2023
Okay.
through. I was looking at the numbers for this year.
From 11 months, 10 months.
Yeah. Hang on. I thought I printed it out, but maybe not. Give me a second here.
Hi Joe.
Hey, Carol.
How are you?
I'm good.
Say, Joe.
What are you guys working on?
We're talking about an apartment deal she sent me.
I, yeah, one in Dayton. I didn't send him the one in San Antonio yet.
Oh, no? Okay.
So anyway, they sent me the P&L from the income and expenses from 2022.
Last year? I
Yeah,
thought you were gonna get this year.
I did. I got 2023 and 20 sent me 2022.
Okay.
Because obviously I need a 12-month trailing P&L. This is October.
Yeah, okay.
7 months last year, they lost money.
Okay.
And if
That
you
could be.
add up the plus or minus column
Mhm.
by month, they lost $19,322 last year.
So that means it's poorly managed, I think. And it
Uh,
could be like that they don't have people to rent the place. But the 7 months they lost 19K.
no, the 12 months from January of 2022 to December of 2022, they lost $19,000.
Okay.
I've got to dig into the numbers to find out why.
Oh, I was gonna ask if you know if it was vacancy or what the problem was.
Well, here's the thing: is I spoke to the realtor, and
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what his name is. But anyway,
I think it was Todd.
right. He says he owns 1,000 doors.
The person that owns this one owns $1,000.
No, the realtor does. The realtor who's listing it, and he also manages it.
He owns $1,000. Do you believe him?
Well, I take everybody at face value. So if he already owns 1,000 doors, why isn't he buying this one?
Right.
That's the problem with realtors. Realtors keep the screaming deals for themselves, and then they
send a crappy one, right? Yeah.
And because I was looking at the P&L, I'm like, why does this have negative numbers on the totals? And then I put it into my own spreadsheet, and I'm like, well, yeah, 7 out of 12 months last year they lost money. This year, to date, they've turned it around.
Getting better.
Yeah, so I got to dig into what would cause them to lose so much money last year.
Okay, but this year is better than last year. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's something.
But even then, plugging in the numbers for the last 12 months, it comes out at a negative 0.35 cap rate.
0.35 cap rate.
Negative 0.35.
All right.
So the numbers for the last 12 months shows this is a property that is losing money.
And now we have to find out why it's losing money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so, and that's at the $1.975 million.
Yeah, 1.975 he say he wants.
Every investor I know, well, people, all right, hedge funds over the last, Grant Cardone over the last couple of years has been buying apartment buildings at a 4% cap rate.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when interest rates were, 3-4%.
Right.
Now, residential mortgages are at 8%, which means that commercial mortgages are going to be over 10.
Yep.
So this property being with the numbers that he shared with me so far, and I've just gone through them and did a basic add up the numbers and see where we're at kind of thing.
Right.
I haven't figured out what's wrong with it yet. But the big
Okay.
red flag was if this realtor owns 1,000 multifamily unit doors, why is he
Why
not
is-
in this one?
Well, it could be he's capped out. He doesn't have any more money. And it could
Or
be,
or he's managing this one. It's a dog, and he doesn't want to own it. And the reason why, another thing that was a red flag to me is I don't know anything about Dayton, Ohio. I don't know what part of town this is in. I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
rough part of town. It seems like the owners bought it right, but put a lot of money into it. Now they're trying to unload it.
Yeah.
And well, I said to him, I asked him who was managing it. He says his firm is managing it. And I said, oh, great. I said, when I've bought apartment buildings in the past, we'd like to maintain management.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't like really excited about that.
I mean, he's getting his kickback and he doesn't like it probably.
Well, according to the P&L, he's making 11%, which is about normal. But then I said, it's in a high crime neighborhood. He said, well, it's not in a high crime neighborhood, but the city's investing a lot of money in the neighborhood, which means it's probably being re-gentrified. But I said, is there any kind of, drug problems? I mean, he didn't want to answer that question. So
He didn't answer that question. Yeah.
and that's typical. But I said, one of the things that I've learned is what we can do is we can, if there's a drug problem or any kind of crime problem, you just go down to the local police station, you put up a note that says half off on apartment rent, because most cops make like $28,000 a year
Right.
when they're starting out.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not living, they're not renting a house, and stuff.
They're not living high in the hog.
And then if you rent to a cop, they all drive their cruisers home.
Right. So that cuts down on the crime because there's a presence of somebody there.
And I was kind of driving at a point. That's how you can tell, you get an idea of how good a neighborhood is. The realtor actually blurted out, a cop wouldn't want to live here.
Okay.
Now, what the hell kind of apartment doesn't a cop want to live in?
It's in the bad part of the neighborhood. The cop would probably get overpowered with all the drug stuff and stuff going back there. I wouldn't even.
I don't know. So again,
if he said that, I wouldn't even pursue it though, because it seems like it'll be a headache down the road. Unless you want to see what the numbers look like. Yeah.
It could be. I would feel a whole lot better about these numbers if it wasn't a listed property.
Yeah.
If it was a burned out owner who'd owned it for 20 years and they just didn't give a crap about the property anymore.
Right. But it is the realtor that's doing it. Yeah.
Exactly. This is an investor and a realtor that was bragging that he owns 1,000 of his own doors.
I still don't believe he did. I think
my first red flag was, if you own 1,000 doors, why aren't you buying this one? Because you manage it.
Right.
And then, the second thing was, and I don't know if they've got like capital expenses that, like they lost almost $15,000 a year ago, May.
Yeah. And you don't lose that unless the neighborhood's going down and people moving out. It's not a growing neighborhood. You don't have the people to rent it.
And according, obviously when you're reading, the listing description, the realtors always paint the rosiest picture.
I know. Very
The other thing was, when he wrote it, he's like, we're at a 10% cap rate. Well, on the rent roll from last month, it says they have 8 vacants. Well, 42 into 8 is 19. That's not 10.
That's not 10. That's way past, almost double.
Yeah. So anyway, I worked on this today, but I do want to let you know that Joe Figueroa and I work with a fellow by the name of Greg out in California. When I told him about the deal, he said, I've got somebody that's looking to buy apartments.
Oh, really? Okay.
So,
Well, I got four more that I didn't pass on yet. So
oh, all right. Well, same questions. You know, send it over to me and I'm going to look for a 12-month trailing P&L.